WakullaFM.com.
All right, Wakullians, what's up down there? I got an email. Eric, I think, got a copy of it as well over the weekend. And it has to do with the race for one of the county commission seats that is open. And the reporting in the Wakulla News. Now, apparently, a story in the Wakulla News that appeared on October 21st referred to Judge Sanders Sauls signing an order to have the state attorney's office investigate a public records case involving a citizen that filed suit against the county. The newspaper reported that a sitting and up for re-election commissioner, Dr. Howard Kessler, was named by the judge. The judge, in his order, didn't name any commissioner at all, just ordered the clerk to hand over records.
But the headline says, Judge refers Kessler for possible prosecution. It's the second headline on the page, so it's down in the middle. And then the subhead says, the state attorney will look at whether the commissioner committed a criminal violation of public records law. So,
and that just isn't in the judge's order anywhere. I've read the judge's order. It's a one-page order. It's very short and succinct, and it's not there. So the paper's released. Now, according to the email, apparently Dr. Kessler and attorneys showed up at the newspaper shortly after its release. And then shortly after that, apparently all the newspapers ended up back on the doorstep of the Wakulla News building. And so I guess the summary verdict is that the newspaper recalled all of the issues.
Yeah, I talked to the general manager last night, and she confirmed that they pulled it because of what I guess they want to call an incorrect or inaccurate headline. They don't want to say misleading. I said, is it misleading? It's not misleading. I did not say that. Don't put words in my mouth, sir. I said, okay. What kind of headline is it? It's not a correct headline. So it's interesting. I mean, it's right before an election. As you mentioned, it's going to be a close race, so you can understand.
Well, we don't know how close it's going to be.
Well, according to a WCTV article, it says it's supposed to be pretty close. So, I mean, yeah, but you're right. We don't know.
Quite candidly, there is nothing in the judge's order that would lead anybody to suggest that any one person was going to be criminally investigated. It's just not there.
Yeah, the headline, the lead in the article says, Judge Sanders Sauls signed an order of referral this week to have the state attorney's office investigate whether County Commissioner Howard Kessler violated state law for failing to turn over public records. What the correction said is that he ordered a review of the records in the case.
That's a big difference. I mean, that's huge. That headline and that reporting is not justified by that action by that judge. And I think that is slanderous. Larry, thanks for calling the morning show.
Yeah, hi, Preston. I sent you the email, and look from the outside like you guys normally do at Wakulla County. Yeah, I mean, if this is the first you heard of this story, yeah, I could see you saying, from that point of view, yeah, I could say, well, yeah, it doesn't have his name specifically in it. This case has been going on for well over a year and a half, and it has to do with a wetlands ordinance that was illegally put in place by Dr. Kessler and his folks, and it was struck down by Sanders Sauls.
Wait. Now, just hang on. I want to be fair here, and I want to be fair to you, Larry. By Dr. Kessler and his folks, are you talking about the fellow county commissioners?
Actually, it's an ordinance that was put in place by mostly by Kessler and his. Well, there's two other commissioners had to vote for it, right? This is true,
right? And it's unfair to say by him when it takes the county commission to put it in place.
Okay, we'll give you that. The problem is it was put in place illegally. It was struck down in court.
Okay.
And the fact of the matter is, what the issue that's being discussed is the fact that after the ordinance was put in place, it was retroactively enforced on an individual.
Ooh.
This has been going on for a year and a half now.
Okay.
And that's what this case was already settled in court, and Commissioner Kessler was ordered to pay $117,000 in a lawsuit because of this.
Okay.
So the case has got Kessler in and all over it, yeah.
The case is about Howard Kessler. That's all it's about. It's a public records request that he didn't fulfill in the lawsuit, the previous lawsuit. So that's all going to come out. The newspaper was pulled, yes, and there were thousands of dollars in advertising. And we talked to the newspaper last night, and they're not planning on reimbursing people who had advertised, and they're not planning on giving us advertising this week. And none of the articles that were written in last week's paper, none of the editorials, anything like that, will be allowed to be rerun because of their fairness policy that says, oh, we're not going to print anything negative the week before the election.
Well, I think obviously you have cause to have a problem with the advertising decision. There's no doubt about that. Are you guys going to take action on that? Because you certainly are entitled to a reimbursement, I would think.
Right, I know, and that's there are people talking about. There are a lot of people talking about this and what to do. You know, the Wakulla News has never pulled newspapers from the paper boxes. That, you know, you print a retraction just like any other newspaper does. It says, "Hey, we made a mistake. Sorry." Bill Snowden has been sitting in every Wakulla County Commission meeting for the last. And I'm sorry, Bill Snowden is the writer, author of the story.
Right.
He's been in every commission meeting for the last, 20 years it seems like, and you know, he knows explicitly what's going on in this case. So
I can understand, Larry, where citizens that know the track record of this would say, yeah, this is obviously about, but from the legal standpoint, Kessler does have them because the reality is he isn't named, and to suggest there's a criminal investigation at this point is purely speculation, is it not? We are back at it. Tuesday on the morning show, 75 degrees in Florida's capital city, and joining us is Wakulla County Commissioner Dr. Howard Kessler. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Preston. How are you doing?
I'm good. All right. What would you like to add to the discussion here?
Well, I guess to start off with some clarifying points. One is I was never named in the lawsuit that's being discussed and what the judge referred over to the state attorney's office. Named in that lawsuit, it was Crum and Crum versus Wakulla County and Wakulla County Board of County Enforcement.
Right.
So that's the first thing. I'm not involved there. I had a deposition taken of me very late in the process, but I was not a named party in it. As far as two things, one is I've always complied with every public records request made of me. That's the record, and that's what the record will reflect. When you have a plaintiff in their pleading saying that I failed to turn over something, well, they have to ask for it first. They cannot just assume that things are going to drop from the sky. So if you go back and look at the record, you'll see that they never asked me for anything until just before my deposition, and I complied with everything they asked for. So that's one thing. The second thing is on the wetlands ordinance. That was thrown out on a technicality. It reached the agency 2 or 3 days after. There's a 10-day period, I believe, and it missed that deadline. The county did not forward that original wetlands ordinance in a timely manner. Whether that could have been argued or not, that's not something I'll address right now. I think it could have been argued and protected that original ordinance, but it wasn't that the ordinance was flawed or fatally flawed. It was a very small technical reason.
But real quickly, the caller said you had to pay some kind of fine, did you?
No, never. That was the county. Again, I'm not named in the lawsuit. The county, in an agreement, and actually Commissioner Mike Stewart was the commissioner assigned by the county to reach an agreement with the parties. It came back. It was explained that this was a reasonable agreement that the county should accept. I was not involved as a person at all in that. Go back and look at just about any news story that touched me, even Haiti. Their big thing in the newspaper was a big picture of somebody in an airplane saying, "I have malaria and I'm flying my plane in Africa." So on Sheriff Harvey incident, the hit and run, they go and their big story is the citizens and the board concerned or upset with Howard Kessler. That's the big front page. I certainly don't get. Well, maybe I do get special treatment, but not in the way special is intended.
Dr. Kessler, we appreciate you calling into the program and offering your side of things. Thanks very much, sir.
I appreciate your show. Thank you, Preston.
Thank you. It's 56 minutes past the hour.